Thanks very much, and good afternoon, everybody. Great to be here today. My name is Josh Spencer. I'm part of EY's AI-enabled automation practice, and I'm joined today by Rob Steliga, who is the Director of Digital Innovation at Quest Diagnostics. We're here today to talk to you about the role of AI and automation within the life sciences industry and also in healthcare, and to talk about how Quest Diagnostics specifically has been able to deploy these technologies at scale across the entire organization to create some real and tangible benefits. Now, we all know in recent times, the life science industry has dealt with a number of pressing challenges, right? So number one, right, the labor market is crazy fiercely competitive, and that's making retaining and hiring new talent very challenging. There's also a growing demand to provide faster care to patients without compromising on accuracy or precision or quality. And we're also seeing a pullback in the government funding that came at the peak of the COVID pandemic. So all of that to say that the operating environment is very budgetary constrained. There's a lot of need for cost reduction in the industry. But within this complex environment, Quest has been a model of resilience and innovation. They've been able to strategically apply both AI and automation. And in fact, since 2019, Quest has been running a holistic intelligent automation program. They've taken a comprehensive approach, and that's really enabled them to navigate all of the challenging times and all of the challenges we're seeing and come out the other end ahead. So how did Quest get started on this journey? How did they grow and scale their AI and automation program? And how have they been able to gain some real tangible savings in the process? I'll pass you over to Rob to walk you through the Quest story and their keys to success.
Hi, thank you for having me today. Excited here. I love talking about automation and AI. I lead the Intelligent Automation Program, and we are chartered with driving cost savings using a suite of automation and AI technologies. I'm here today to talk to you about our journey to $50 million in savings. And I'm going to qualify these savings. This is $50 million in hard savings. We differentiate between savings that hit the P&L statement, so it could be eliminating bad debt, a number of different categories, versus soft savings that are productivity, employee satisfaction, quality. We're going to focus today on the $50 million in hard savings that this program has driven. In 2019, we started out by bringing in an automation platform. At this point, there was no real vision for this type of program. Really, our intent was to give a tool to our business partners that would enable them to drive cost savings by eliminating manual processes. In 2020, COVID hit, and Quest is at the forefront of the crisis. We have to figure out how to process millions of COVID tests, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of COVID tests in a very short amount of time. Normally, when we're bringing on an instrument platform or a new test, we have months of advance. We had to shrink time frames from months down to weeks. And this is when we brought in an army of consultants to start applying automation technologies, anywhere from automating home tested kits. We built a ML model for predicting when we needed new inventory. And it was really being used tactically to survive, right? To just get through the COVID crisis. In coming out of the COVID crisis and going into 2021, we thought, well, this worked. Look what we saved. Look the amount of productivity we produced, and we started to look at the program more strategically. Over the next several years, what we wound up doing is taking a more strategic approach. Where can we use intelligent automation to drive further savings? So we expanded out to using really a suite of document intelligence or task mining, a number of different technologies, broadening the number of use cases that we could bring to bear. And then in 2023, we started building custom AI ML models. And now, of course, we're all here because of generative AI. And what generative AI is going to do is going to provide a lot more runway for the company to continue to drive these savings through the coming years. What I want to talk to you about today is everyone is reacting. I've talked to many, many different companies at these different conventions, and everyone's reacting to the AI craze and how do I build a program around this. So what I want to talk to you about today is looking historically at this. What were the key success factors in building a sustainable program, right? And the key word there is sustainable. How do you achieve those hard savings over multiple years and not become a flash in the pan, okay? We have a continuous discovery process, and I call this high and wide. When we're going out and doing discovery, let's tackle the high part. We want to get as high up in the organization structure as possible. Vice president, general manager, executive director level. 2 reasons. One, if you're going to be targeting cost savings, you have to know where the money is. What's your budget? Where are you spending? Where are you spending on human capital? Where do you have cost leakage? More importantly, at that level of executive understands their operations, but they're more interested in understanding their future state. Here's how I really want my operations to work. Here's what I envision. When you talk about a vision and optimizing workflow, that opens up the number of use cases that you can use to drive high ROI. If you're only going after automating or applying technology to replace exactly what you're doing, you're limiting what the ROI you can achieve on your use cases. Now, there's a wide component of this. We had a target of $15 million in savings this year. We're going to exceed that. But that's a really big number. I don't have a tree I can go pick off a use case that's worth $8 million. We have to piece together dozens upon dozens of automations that will compile and add up to that $15 million target. It's not easy. So we have to go across the entire company, all functions, all regions, and each area is contributing, and we're building software to drive those savings across all departments. Key to be going wide, so it's high and wide. As we're coming out of discovery, when we go into discovery, we never lead with technology. I believe it's a mistake to go be a hammer looking for a nail. In other words, a technology looking for a solution. You're going to find savings, but you are going to be very narrowly focused on what that particular technology can do. So what you want to do is work at the workflow level, right? And then as you understand the optimized workflow, then start applying technologies to the optimized workflow. So you can have document understanding, you may have RPA, and now with generative AI, you can really let your imagination go wild here in terms of what can you do with all these different technologies. And that allows you to maximize stringing together different technologies to achieve that ROI that you're going to need to achieve. One of the questions that I continually get asked when I talk about this program is, well, we can't do that. We don't have all these skill sets. We don't have the resources to do that. So let's talk about that. Several months ago, my wife and I come down in the morning to get our coffee, and our kitchen is flowing with water. Well, it turns out in the laundry room, the faucet that connects the hose to the washing machine had rusted through, and the water was coming out the top, and it was just pouring out onto the floor into our finished basement. So I went downstairs, I turned off the main water valve, and I came upstairs, and my wife is already ready to call a plumber. And I said, "Hang on, I got this. How hard can this be?" And so we debated. Long and short, I talked her into it, and I took the day off of work. Long story short, 8 hours later, 3 trips to Lowe's, and I'm done. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. So I decide that I'm going to call my wife in. I said, "Kim, come on in. Remember what we talked about this morning?" And I'm ready for the grand unveiling, and I reach over and I turn on the left nozzle. Pressure comes on, no leaks. And I'm kind of, giving it one of the happy dances, and I'm gloating. And in my moment of triumph, I reach over and I turn on the right nozzle. The water comes out like a fire hose. It knocks off my glasses. I scream. It happened so fast, my brain couldn't even catch up with what was happening. By the time I got to my senses, I reach over and I turn off the nozzle and realize I had forgotten to hook up the hose. Well, I wipe off my eyes, and I know what I'm in for. I look over, and my wife is laughing so hard she could barely breathe. Epic fail, okay? Why am I telling you this story? Because as you're building your automation and AI program, it is not a do-it-yourself program. Oops, sorry. It is not a do-it-yourself program. Why, you ask? Same reason you would go and hire a plumber. They're professionals. That's what they do. There are consulting companies that have entire practices focused on AI and automation. They're fast. They deliver quality work. They provide a warranty. Now let's tie it back to that previous slide. We built a predictive model to predict when we would have client attrition. I had a team of data scientists on my doorstep working in 2 weeks, okay? Several months later, we delivered the product. Remember, we said we have to be fast because we have to accumulate a lot of use cases to hit those hard dollar savings, okay? And finally, most importantly, you can't have the epic fails. You're trying to build the program. You cannot put in an automation or an AI program that blows up. You'll set your program back, potentially indefinitely, depending on it. So this is an easy one. The consulting firms will help you find the savings and deliver the savings. I'm gonna grab a quick drink. The next thing that we've come across is the fear of automation and AI is real. We've had departments and groups that have kept us at arm's length, not wanting to be part of, I may eliminate some jobs, or I may, put my own job at risk. So how do we deal with that? Well, in my travels at Quest, I have come across processes, manual processes that really kind of boggle the mind, right? It's 2023. We're a Fortune 500. How do we get here? These processes are miserable. And that's exactly what you want to try to find as you're building your program, okay? What you're going to do here is you're going to be in 2 roles. You're going to be a physician, okay? And you are going to provide pain relief in the form of automation and AI, okay? And you're going to do that quickly, okay? You're going to provide the automation, AI, and they are going to be relieved from these horrific manual processes. And you're going to start getting statements like, I would have quit my job 3 months ago if it weren't for this solution, okay? Now, I'm not done. I'm in my physician role, but now I'm gonna move to my sales and marketing role, okay? And I am trumpeting this type of statement across the entire organization. Staff meetings, general manager level. Who doesn't want pain relief? Automation and AI is a good thing. They love it, okay? So you have to promote. Deliver and promote. Okay, pressing on. Okay, the end goal here as you're building your program is to build enough confidence with the C-suite that they are going to permanently fund your program. Okay, that's where we are today. We weren't always there. So I want to give you 3 takeaways of how you can start building confidence in your program so there comes a point in time where the C-suite will say, yeah, we're willing to fund this on a continual basis, and it's not going to compete with any other projects you go out and deliver, and that's the goal. So number 1, when we are doing discovery, we will spend a significant amount of time doing the financials of a use case. All right, we may do time studies, we mine our data to make sure that we're providing accurate information. Now, when we're done with it, we're fairly confident when we deliver the use case that it will deliver that value. But I'm not done there. What we do is we take it to our corporate finance team. This is a team, they're professionals that manage the profit and loss in the company. And they're going to throw darts at it, but their main thing that they're going to do is they're going to separate soft savings from hard savings. And we want them to do that. Why? Here's an example. A few months ago, we're presenting the program to the CFO. Here's how much we're going to spend. Here's what we're going to deliver. And I'm in the middle of my sentence, and the CFO stops, and he says, hang on, hold up. And he points to the corporate finance team, and he says, are these real dollars? And the corporate finance team says, yeah, these are real dollars. They're going to hit your P&L by the end of the year. No more questions. What did we just do? Well, what we did is we built confidence in our program with the CFO and the C-suite, right? But we did it by using the right people that he trusted to know that these are real savings dollars. It's not a mirage. This is real. We're going to hit your dollars. Okay? Secondly, creative funding models. As I mentioned, I think a number of companies are kind of reacting. And the question is, do you have a budget? And we didn't always have a budget for this program, but we had to find creative ways to keep it going, right? To keep the momentum so you get to that point where you can ask the C-suite for the funding. So we came up with, we didn't have the dollars, so we worked with our strategic partner, and we came up with different models. We said, hey, look, we have an idea. We don't have the money this year. We'll budget it for next year. Can we pay you next year? That worked. We did things like, you say this is going to save us $2 million, we'll pay you a portion of it, right? There's many different strategies you can take, but the key thing is you have to keep the use cases coming. You have to keep delivering so you can get to that point where you're showing evidence that this works, please fund us, okay? Finally, there's nothing makes me happier than going out and finding $1 million use case. But I don't go trumpeting that around the organization. What we want to do is bundle those together, all right, like we did several months ago. We bundled them together, maybe 24 use cases, and we presented $8 million in hard savings by the end of the year. The ROI is simply off the charts, okay? And that's what the C-suite wants to hear. You got to prioritize the hard dollars, and then you bundle them together and you hit them with a hard number. Okay, at some point, you're going to get to the point where you're delivered enough confidence that you're going to get fully funded, okay? And that allows you now to go out and find use cases, deliver, work across a wide spectrum of technologies and resources. So that's my part of the presentation. I'm going to hand it back to Josh, who's going to really talk more about less about Quest and more about the industry and what he's seeing in the healthcare sciences industry. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Rob. Well, one of the things I love about that story is it showcases how transformational AI and automation can be when you're using it strategically within the organization. One of the really important takeaways that I think is an important lesson for everyone to consider is how do you scale an AI and an automation program so that it has that impact across the entire organization? You know, it's something that's a lot easier said than done. I think lots of companies out there, and this may resonate, lots of companies will have an AI governance council or an automation COE already set up. You may be doing a bunch of generative AI POCs. There might even be some AI solutions that are going into production and actually starting to create real savings. And that's great. But to get to that level of savings, to get to $50 million in tangible savings, requires you to have an AI strategy that is actually in sync with the company's and organizational strategy. It requires you to have, like Rob's been saying, the right leadership buy-in, a comprehensive buy-in from leadership. And also really requires you to have the right team that can actually deliver on that. So for everyone out there who's looking at taking their AI and automation program to the next level, those are things that I would really consider and think about how are we going to actually plan those out and how are we actually going to execute to be able to deliver that sort of value. Now, in the last few minutes that we have left, I want to extrapolate on that story from Quest and extrapolate on the success that they've had to think about how AI and generative AI can be used throughout the life science industry as well as the healthcare sector as both a tool and a catalyst for digital transformation. You know, we all know, and everyone's here because we all know that AI and generative AI are driving a huge amount of innovation in this industry, right? Automation, AI and automation touch every corner of life sciences. They're going to touch every corner of healthcare, the end-to-end patient journey and experience. But I want to highlight today just 3 key ways that we are seeing AI and generative AI shift the landscape in life sciences and really transform the way that businesses are actually operating and ways of working. You know, if you look down the left, those 3 things in my mind are the ability to accelerate, the ability to create personalized experiences, and being proactive. So number 1, which is acceleration, right? Accelerating your processes, accelerating your operations, accelerating your speed to market. Those are all great use cases for AI and generative AI. But ideally, you want to be using those and using that acceleration to create a strategic advantage. If we look at, for example, the pharmaceutical space, everyone is trying to use AI to speed up the drug discovery process, right? To find new molecules, for example. Everyone's also looking at using AI to improve the speed of clinical trials and be able to deliver those faster. You know, the cost of bringing a single drug to market can run into the hundreds of millions of dollars and can take, 5 to 10 years if you think about the overall life cycle. So the amount of potential savings across drug discovery, across clinical trials, is tens of millions of dollars, potentially even hundreds of millions of dollars for one drug. And when you think about that broadly, the pharma industry could be saving, 60 plus billion in terms of actual cost. So accelerating your operations, accelerating your speed is a really key way that AI is going to help shift that landscape. The second piece is personalization. And we've been talking about personalization for ages, right? The concept of personalized medicine, the concept of really specific, customized patient journeys. But in my mind, personalization is actually a lot more than just that. It's really about how do you create a customized experience? And it's not just about patients. It's also about how do you create a customized experience for the partners that you work with, the suppliers, the vendors, any customers, and even your employees as well. The ability to improve that experience for all of those different parties, whether we're talking about patients or whether we're talking about employees or customers, that improves the experience, and that's got the potential to improve top-line growth as well. So personalization are another really key part to this, to the impact that AI is going to have. The third item is really about how do you shift from being reactive to being proactive. Rob talked through a really great example before of client churn, where we've created custom ML models that are looking at a whole bunch of customer service factors and business volume and things like that to predict when is a client going to potentially reduce their spend or reduce their business with the company, and therefore have the foresight to go and take actions that are going to improve or mitigate that client churn. So this shift from being reactive to being proactive is really going to empower companies. It's going to empower medical professionals. It's going to empower everyone in the life sciences and healthcare space. And it's going to have a major impact on productivity. We see easily a 30 to 45% productivity increase as a result of that by being able to address problems in advance, by being able to have foresight and being able to improve the ability to address those problems. Now, the last point I'll close out on and just want to make is one that I think, and I hope, you're going to hear almost every presentation at this AI Summit, which is about the need for governance and control over AI. Right? There's a lot of challenges and pitfalls when it comes to implementing AI, and it's important that we don't overlook those. Right? Every company here is going to have to figure out, how do we tackle AI governance? How do we deal with the ethical and the regulatory challenges? How do we deal with issues around data privacy or bias or the need to validate AI-generated data? All of us here, our role, and we all need to create trust in AI, which is frankly much easier said than done. If we can create that trust, I think the upside of AI is really unlimited. So I hope this has been useful for you to think about how you can grow and scale your own AI and automation programs at your own organizations and hopefully achieve the same level of savings that we've seen at Quest. And thank you.
Fantastic.